Hi, it's such a joy to be here today, and I'm excited. I was reading from Luke chapter 22, verses 52 to 64. It's an interesting passage where the scripture says, someone kindled a fire out there in the night, and Peter, one of the closest disciples of Jesus, comes and sits down, takes a place near that fire, among others, and suddenly he is confronted with some realities, some truth, and something which was going deep within him. The fire which was kindled out there kind of kindles a fire within him. The scripture says there was a servant girl who looked at him and then closely watched him, then said, "You were with this man." This man we are talking about is the master, his master, Peter's master, Jesus, who was arrested by the Roman soldiers and was brought into the house of the high priest. If Peter had known what was going to happen that night at this fireplace, which became his denying place, he would never have come there. Perhaps he would have stayed out. But tonight we see, as he sits down to warm himself, something really confronts him, the reality of who he is and who his master is. When the servant girl asks him who the master is, the one who is arrested, when he is faced with the opposition and the threat, he denies even knowing the master. Some time back, the same master had called Peter to walk on the water. If you read Matthew chapter 14, it says that Peter cried out one evening as they were going on the boat, and he saw his master Jesus walking on the water, and said, "Lord, if it's you, can I come to you?" Then the Lord said, "Come." And he walked on the water. Walking on the water is a great thing, is a great miracle, and you defy the gravity and the physics, and you walk on that. But that night, in front of that fire which was kindled, he could not walk through it. He denied Jesus. Oftentimes when I sit with others, when I look at my life, I do the same thing. I'm able to walk on water, and I would want to experience that feeling of walking and defying all gravity and doing that miracle. But oftentimes I'm afraid to walk through that fire. In those times when I face those threats, when I face those challenges, I often fail to recognize my master. Whatever the words come out in that night when the fire is kindled, one thing is for sure, the rooster will crow at the appointed time. One thing I want to encourage you from one of the ancient prophet who said, he said, even when you walk through the water, it will not overflow you, it will not consume you. And even when you walk through the fire, it will not burn you or destroy you. What an encouraging passage for Peter and for each one of us. May God bless you.